Hello and welcome to another episode of Real PR, today with me, Lauren Roberts. I'm joined by a lovely guest today who I've known for quite a while, and we've just started working together as well, which is really lovely. I'm not going to introduce Louise, I'll let her tell you about herself. So over to you. Hi, Louise.
Hi, Lauren. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
So excited to be here. So as you know, I'm Louise Muir Sage, and I am the very proud owner of Something Kind of Woo, a crystal shop in Royal Wootton Bassett. So that is me.
I love the name. Where did that come from?
I'm an overthinker by nature. And when I was trying to think of a name, I wanted a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I said to a friend of mine, I just want something that's, a little bit woo. Mm-hmm. I said, well, surely that's the name. So Something Kind of Woo just came about. And for me, the woo is a little bit of a nod to magical, the mystical, but also use it in a way that isn't derogatory, as some people find.
Yeah.
And just to make it a welcoming place, really.
I love the term woo because we sort of, I try to explain the spiritual side of things that I believe sometimes. I don't know how to explain it. And I know Fiona's the same. We sort of say it together, just a little bit of woo-woo or a little bit of woo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that phrase, absolutely. But you don't just sell crystals, do you?
I don't. So crystals is what you'll find in the main. I couple that with things like incense, with essential oils as well, your tarot, your oracle cards. But I'm also a Reiki practitioner. So I run Reiki sessions, and I also run Chakra realignment sessions as well. So it's often a little bit of something for everyone, really.
Yeah. Can you just explain a little bit about what Reiki is if someone doesn't know?
So I love this question because whenever somebody says to me, what's Reiki? The easiest way to understand it is to experience it. Currently outside the shop on my boards, I've just put a sign to say that Reiki is basically cosmic glitter for the soul. So that's probably a nice way of explaining it. It's a form of energy healing. I act as a channel for energy coming through from the universe, through myself, into a person, working on their energy fields, trying to bring back some balance, clear blockages. And a lot of people find it incredibly relaxing. Mm-hmm. It can help with stress, anxiety, and just give you back to yourself a little bit more. If you wanted to think of it as like a full service on your car, that's sort of what Reiki is, but for the soul and for the mind.
And where does chakras come into that?
So the body's made up of 21 chakras. Most people know about the 7. And they are the 7 main energy centres within the body. Everyone thinks we start at the top, we start at the bottom. So you've got your base chakra or your root chakra, moves up to your sacral, solar plexus, move to your heart, your throat, third eye and your crown. And it's just each of those chakras are responsible for different energies. So your third eye chakra, for example, which is just by, in between your eyebrows, is your intuition center. So, and it's like having that forethought, that, forward vision. So that's where that comes from.
And so what kind of things do you get people coming into you to talk about? Maybe, I guess they're sharing sort of personal things that they're going through. Can you give an example of something that somebody might come and see you about?
So with a Reiki session, generally what happens is somebody will come in and we'll talk for 5-10 minutes beforehand just to see how they're feeling, where they feel that maybe they're out of kilter a little. Mm-hmm. And then I'll do the Reiki and we'll do a follow-up afterwards. And quite often people will come in with stress and anxiety. That seems to be the main driving factors. I recently had a spate of people coming in that had lost cats. Cats had just vanished. And I had 3 ladies almost back to back. And all 3 of their cats have returned, which is just amazing.
Oh, wow.
I'd love to say that's the power of Reiki. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
But it was just bringing them a little bit of peace and just a little bit of self-assurance as well. So a lot of it is stress. And some people, they come in and they say, I just feel like I've lost myself a little bit. And that's how Reiki can help.
And then the crystal side of it, I know, I came into the shop and I said to you sort of, can you explain a little bit about what's here? And you said, well, first, tell me what you're drawn to.
Correct.
And I loved that. And I think the things that I picked out, and when you explained what the crystals were for and sort of the energy connected to that, I just thought, and that's just from me picking something and looking at it going, oh, I like the look of that.
Yes.
It's crazy.
The nice thing with crystals is, and what I'm trying to help people understand through social media, through coming in the shop, is there's no right or wrong with it. And people will come in and say, I've been told I must have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how it works, because, for example, I get people come in and say, what would you recommend for anxiety?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many crystals for anxiety. In fact, they'll all help with anxiety. And it's the same when people say, I want a crystal for healing. Fabulous. Which one? Because it's all of them. So what I spend the time doing is saying to people, okay, so you've got anxiety. Do you mind me asking what it's around? Because then I can really help to personalise a choice for them.
Mm-hmm.
What I will never do is say, this is a crystal that you must have, because that's not for me. You've got to use your intuition as a customer. So I'll give them a few options to say, do you know what, these are the ones that I would recommend. However, what are you drawn to, just like I did with yourself?
Yeah, it was a lovely experience, and it's obviously a lovely little shop as well. So overall, it's a lovely shopping experience.
Yeah.
How did you get into it? Have you always felt sort of a little connection to that side, or I'm interested in...
So I think I've always been, looking back, I think I've always been incredibly different to everyone in my family. My dad is an engineer. He's very logical, and I'm not. I'm the girl that would read Enid Blyton books until I was 18 because I liked the magic behind them. And I like things that you can't necessarily explain. I've always had that fascination with stars, with the moon, with sunsets. I'm 44 years old, and if I see a beautiful sunset, I've got to stop whatever I'm doing and take a photo of it.
Yeah.
And I'm learning actually to capture it here more than on a phone nowadays. There's just always been something that's intrigued me. I can't tell you what it is specifically, but there's just always been something. And for me, my love of crystals got triggered when I stopped drinking. That was where it really helped, because I didn't want to go from drinking to sleeping tablets. And when I couldn't sleep, I decided to look into things that might. And crystals is what came about. And not looked back since.
And not only that, you've now turned it into a business.
Yes. And that started on, well, a bit of a whim, if I'm honest. I'd been to Cornwall with my partner, and I said to him, I would love to live in Cornwall, have a coffee shop down there that sells crystals. And as I said, with the overthinking thing, I'm really imaginative, and my shop was going to be called Coffee and Crystals. What does on the tin. And when I came home, I went into a cafe where I run meditation events in Wootton Bassett, and shared with Gemma this life goal that one day this is what I'm going to do. And she said, well, why don't we do it as an event? I was like, okay. And that was October 2024. We put on an event in the November, and it's sold out every month since. It's done the last Friday of every month. It sells out every month. And September last year, a shop had become vacant in Royal Wootton Bassett, and it just intrigued me, this shop. And it was still vacant, and it kept staying vacant. And I thought, I wonder if I'm supposed to be there. And with the success of Coffee and Crystals, it showed me there was a gap in the market. there was a demand, and I opened the shop. So it escalated quite quickly in about 6 months.
Sometimes that's the best way.
Yeah.
When you hear people setting up businesses, they've done it because they've had an idea, and it's something in the universe is everything aligns right. And
I spend a lot of time saying to people, trust your gut, trust your instincts, and I'm like that. Oh yeah, but
take your own advice, Louise. Come on.
I know. I was like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and it absolutely was meant to be. And what I love about the shop is I get a lot of the kids coming in after school, big groups, teenagers, and they're brilliant. They come in, they ask all the questions, and they might leave spending nothing, having asked loads of questions. They might have left spending £1 on a little stone. But do you know what? They go home and they tell their parents, and then they come back, and it's just like everyone in the town just loves it, and that's amazing. And every time somebody buys something, whether it's £1 or £800, I just like to do this little happy dance.
Yeah.
Love it.
Amazing. From something like that you've been doing events of, and now you've got your own little place to house that. But you are still doing events, aren't you?
I am still doing events.
Tell me.
So the last Friday of every month, I do my coffee and crystal still with the little gem, and I'll remain there because without them, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
And on the first Friday of every month, I also hold a meditation session. And on top of that, I'm doing other events. So August is Lionsgate, so one of the most powerful portals in the spiritual calendar. And then I'm going to start looking at things ready for the autumn equinox. I did, a thing for the summer solstice, and I actually held my opening on the summer solstice, which was just magical. Yeah. So it's just, I'm starting to trust myself a bit more about how much I do know, and people want to learn and hear it, and that's what I'm really loving about it.
Love it. Have you ever suffered a little bit with imposter syndrome, sort of how
a
much I know?
A little bit. A huge amount of imposter syndrome. My just as an example, my chakra realignment sessions, they've been sat there in the bag for about 2.5 months going, right, I'm going to do it. And I got called out by somebody going, why haven't you done it? I went, what if it doesn't work? And the conversation was, what have you got to lose? I was like, well, nothing. It's not like putting on an event and nobody turning up. And I said, so why aren't you putting it out there? And I put it out there, and within 48 hours, I'd sold 7 sessions. I was like, oh, okay. And I am getting myself ready for the next phase of imposter syndrome when these people turn up. I'm going, no, I need to do it. But I know I can do it. I know I can. And I've just got to trust myself. I'm not trying to be somebody that I'm not. If I don't know something, I'm really honest with my customers. I can't retain all the information in my head. That's what all these amazing search engines are for on the internet.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That's brilliant. So I want to talk a little bit about PR now. So I mentioned at the beginning that we've started working together.
Yes.
The shop opened very recently. We've sort of done our first full month of it.
Yep.
But you've also had some good publicity otherwise outside of what we've been doing, but from our summit that we did at the beginning of the year. Yeah. Talk to me about that experience.
So for me, the first thing that happened was May last year, attending the one-day PR planning day. And I went in not really knowing what PR was. I thought PR was talking about your business and getting your business seen. That's what I thought PR was about. And that day, it kind of changed my perception on everything. And I met a fabulous journalist, Liz Perkins, and she was the first person outside of my circle that I trusted enough to share my story with. And then I signed up for the 2-day PR summit this year because I wanted to learn more, and anything I can do to kind of get my story out there a little bit, I'm willing to do, because I'd want somebody to do the same for me. So coming along to the summit, the 2 days blew my mind. Number one, because I heard so many stories from other people that gave me a connection. I built an extra network of support as well. But to be able to be in that position to share my story really raw it was terrifying, but I also felt incredibly safe. Because when I sat in that chair, I could only see the people in front of me, not all the people behind me. I didn't think I was going to end up sharing my story because I think I was last on the day. And I thought, how am I going to live up to everyone else? The imposter coming in again. And again, Liz Perkins was there. And I don't think she was meant to have been there originally. And she was there, and it was just like, this has got to happen now. And it was at that point that I knew that I wanted to work with Scott Media. And the shop wasn't even there at that point. But I knew I wanted to work with Scott Media because I had a story to tell, but I didn't know necessarily how to get it out there. And I'm, as the imposter, I've got this awful thing called procrastination. And I spend a lot of time sitting in that, so it probably would never have got done. So started working with Scott Media, and the first month has been amazing. So my story featured in Woman's Own magazine, which was the first big thing. I had my shop launch, which was featured in the local press, and that was about my business. I was on Yahoo Lifestyle about my relationship with my dad. I've got more bits that are coming up with Fabulous Magazine, with Psychic News. So there's lots happening where it's a real nice combination of my business and myself. And for me, the big thing is, if you get your story out there, people buy from people, ultimately. They don't care what your shop looks like, necessarily. You could be the most amazing person in the world, but if you haven't got a story that they can relate to, it's hard to build those relationships. So the PR, the learning I've done, the work that I'm doing with Scott Media, it's helping me form relationships with people before they even walk through the doors of my business.
That's worth its weight in gold, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And you're not only doing sort of that side of the PR where we're getting stories out there, you're very active on your other areas of making sure that you're visible.
Yes.
Your TikTok. I love your TikTok so much.
I'm still getting comments on a video that went viral. I don't know why it went viral. It was nothing spectacular. It was literally 5 crystals to not have in your bedroom. And TikTok's a fabulous platform for quick information. And I'm aware a lot of people go there to get information as opposed to, YouTube and stuff like that a lot of the time. And this one video of 5 crystals not to have in your bedroom, the number of comments on there from people saying, oh, you haven't told us why. And it was in the description. It's just people are so used to scrolling. And a lot of comments saying, what a load of rubbish you don't know what you're talking about. And those comments, I've chosen not to turn into a keyboard warrior over, which does take some going. But again, with any form of PR, you've got to take the highs and the lows. There are going to be people that don't like what you say. But what I've learned from a distance of observing what Scott Media does is I think I've responded to every single comment. And the ones that weren't as positive, I literally went back and said, thank you so much for your feedback. Isn't it wonderful how we all experience energy differently? And there's nothing anyone can say.
No.
Because it is different for everyone. Like I said to you earlier, no right or wrong.
We try and share that when people are sort of, we don't get it too often. Luckily, it's quite rare with sort of bad PR and when you've got a little bit of crisis to deal with and things like that. Or negative comments.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do it nowadays, isn't it, with social media? bite back at other people's opinion. Do you get a lot of people, I guess you're in that sort of space where people have got very varying views about it?
They have, and massively varying views, but also a little bit strangely, I suppose, is people who work in similar fields to myself are often the first people to jump in and criticize. And I find that really odd in a spiritual environment. And for me, that's a reflection of them and where they're at. And it is just a case of some people just don't like what you say. And that's okay. You know,
We've also had some nice collaboration in terms of people in your field that you do gel with.
Yeah, massively. And like the little gem, without that cafe, I wouldn't have my shop. It is that simple. And my retreat, I've teamed up with an energy healer who's local. I've teamed up with a lady who's coming to do a sound bath that I've met through these channels. And also in the shop, I'm stocking items made by other people. So I stock jewellery from Charm & Bee Accessories, so sterling silver jewellery with crystals in it. Charm & Bee is also owned by my sister, so that's nice having that work with her. But I'm also stocking necklaces made by a local glass artist who works a lot with chakras. She does a lot of tarot reading and things like that. So again, it's almost like the shops suddenly become this portal for all of these collaborations to happen.
Yeah, and it's not in competition with each other. You're just all working together.
Absolutely. And I'm a massive one for collaboration over competition. There's no point with competition. You can have Costa and Starbucks next to each other in High Street. People will go to the one that they like. It's
Very
that
true.
simple. It's that simple. Same with crystal shops. You know, it's same with Reiki practitioners. And if you even think to your GP surgery, I know it's not as much nowadays, but ideally you want to go and see your GP. So it's all about the collab.
So if someone's looking to, maybe they've got an idea, they haven't started their business, they're thinking about it.
Yep.
What advice would you give to someone, given your experience?
Don't rush into it. Mine happened quickly, but what I did do is I sat and I worked out all the maths behind it, because especially going into a premises, I needed to know how much that was going to cost me for the next 3 to 5 years, and if that was something that I knew would be maintainable. And I spent some time working in an accounting role many years ago, so that little part of me is still there. So it's being sensible with it. Do look at what's around that is similar and see how they're doing. If you know your idea is similar to what somebody else is doing and theirs isn't working, it doesn't mean yours won't work. It just means that there's something not quite right for it to work. And I spoke to a financial advisor and said, this is what I'm thinking of doing. And that's where I got that little bit of reassurance. Between you and me, if he'd said don't do it, I probably still would have done it anyway.
You'd found your passion, you knew what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I think he was too scared of me to say no anyway. But speak to people in the local community. I'm based in Royal Wootton Bassett, and all the independent shops there generally will support each other, and they're really honest about how things are as well. And that's the biggest advice I can give to somebody. And if you're thinking now's not the right time, that's okay as well. You'll have an opportunity to do it. So just don't give up. If you've got a dream, don't park it.
Don't park it. That's really good advice. And if someone's maybe on the other end of it, they've started their business and they're wondering about PR,
yes,
from your personal experience of that, what would you say to someone wondering if it's worth it for them?
It's worth it. There's no two ways about it. It's absolutely worth it. And I'm in a fortunate position now where I can work properly with Scott Media. But before that, I was already looking at how I could work with Scott Media on an ad hoc basis and booking power hours with Fiona and attending anything that she does. You know, she's got things like the press pack. There's so much available there where you can dip your toe in and get the knowledge maybe not the same kind of exposure, but just start to understand what PR is. And if somebody tells you PR is easy, run a mile. Because if it was easy, we'd all just get with it. So.
And I think the work that you've sort of done with Scott Media and with Fiona already, you were very much already aware of the importance of telling your stories outside of your business.
Absolutely. And for me, what I didn't want was for somebody else to tell my story in their version, which is why my story is out there and it's as honest as it physically can be.
And well done for you for sharing it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, Louise. I could talk to you all day, and I could spend all day in your shop. I absolutely love it. It's just got a really lovely feel about it. If people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
So I'm everywhere. That's the good news. So I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So either as Something Kind of Woo or Louise Muir Sage.
Thank you for watching another episode of Real PR, today with me, Lauren. It's been lovely to talk to Louise, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to our chat. If you want to find me, it's Lauren Roberts. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook. I'm a little bit of everywhere as well. We've just started a YouTube channel. It's wonderful things to learn, isn't it? And scottmedia.uk if you want to find us on there. We'll see you again.